Alrighty, so today is Thursday, a lovely, lovely day. Love a Thursday. I hope everyone is having a lovely day. Yesterday, in case you forgot, we read our story, Why Go West. It was a short read. It was a informational text. It gave us information about why people really went west. So you're like, Ms. Knappel, well, what are we going to do today? Well, today we're going to practice using radar to answer written responses, because I'm going to tell you, you guys still need lots and lots of work. So we're going to be answering 2 questions together, and then we're going to see what time it is, and maybe we're going to use the cue chart. Depends on what time it is. So first, let's review what radar stands for. Remember, radar is spelled R-A-D-A-R. So step number 1 is restate the question. And Mrs. Kneipel is obsessed with restating the question. Literally, that's all I can say is I'm obsessed with it. If someone asks you, what's your favorite color? You should not just say pink. You should say, my favorite color is pink. By restating the question, someone can tell what you are talking about without even knowing the question. Okay? If I said, what's your favorite farm animal? And you said pig. Okay, well, pig could mean the food bacon. It could mean a pig in a farm. It could mean a pig in a zoo. I don't know. But if you restated your question and said, my favorite farm animal is a pig, guess what? I wouldn't have even needed to know the question. I would have been able to know that just from your answer. So restating the question is still, in my opinion, the most important part of radar. And it just helps you so much. So restating the question, number 1, important. We need to be doing it every single time you answer a question. You should be doing that. And I was looking over your homework from yesterday, which, by the way, 14 of you did not do. So if you didn't do that homework from yesterday, you better hop on and do it. But lots of us didn't restate the question, even though that was part of the directions. Okay, so we're going to be answering that question together today using the full radar. We're going to see how to do it. The next part is answering your own words. Of course, tell me the answer. You have to answer a question. The third one, D, is details and more details. You can never have too long of an answer. Someone's not going to be like, oh my gosh, you put too many details in that. No, I'm going to be like, oh snap, they really understood this. They did a great job. The next A is add text evidence. Tell me, paragraph 6 said this, or paragraph 7 said this, or according to the text, or quote something. Add those little marks and give me an actual quotation. And last one, we use that R and we kind of cheat because rap is actually spelled W-R-A-P. This R-A-P is like, a rapper. But anyways, wrap it up, meaning I need a conclusion sentence, okay? I need some closure. I don't just want you to end with I don't just want to end. I want you to restate your question again, basically. We have to work on wrapping it up. We have to work on restating the question. And we really overall have to make our answer longer. Okay, because still on your guys' weekly assessments, they're like really bi-weekly assessments, you guys are still giving me like 1 sentence. That is not good enough. That is not going to get you far. We are halfway through the 5th grade year. We need to be getting in those long, long answers. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And together we are going to answer 2 radar questions. So obviously there's so many of us on here, so we're all going to have to, raise your hand if you want to answer and really just work on it as a whole group. Okay. So if you want to answer anything, be sure to raise your hand button, but let's see if this, when it shares, and we're going to go over the first question that we're going to answer together. So I'm assuming it's on your screen because it's on my screen. And the question here, let's throw some directions up there. Directions. Use radar to answer. But we're doing this together. But anyways, question number 1. According to the text. Okay, so I'm telling you what text we're using. Why go west? That's our story from this week. Why might someone move west? This is literally the question I asked yesterday. Basically, as your homework, the homework was like, give me 3 reasons. I didn't say you had to use radar yesterday. So if you didn't use radar, no big deal. But I did say you had to restate the question yesterday, and I still had people that didn't restate that question. What's on my screen, Landon? I'm just going to be the one typing it. You don't need this on your screen. You should be having the story open on your screen, Landon. That way you can give me the answers because I don't have it open on mine. I should get my book out. That way I have it. So I don't want an answer yet. I don't want the answer of why people go west. Right now, we need to restate our question. By restating our question, we need to repeat what was asked. That is step one, restate the question. Would anyone like to tell me maybe what I should say when how I would restate my question? No, I'm sorry, I'm trying to load the who's raising their hand button. I see a few hands are raised. Michaela, would you like to tell me how you would start this question?
Someone might move west because.
Okay, so I like that, but I want to add a little bit more. Someone might move west because. So you did add part of it, why someone might move west, but I want to add something about this up here. So can someone add to what Michaela just said? How can we add a little bit more to restate our question even more than what she said? Abigail?
According to the text in the beginning.
Yeah, according to the text, why go, oh wait, that's uppercase. Why, goodness, go, sorry, Mrs. Kneifels typing. According to the text, why go west? Someone might move west because, woo! Look at, we just restated the question, like literally, we basically wrote exactly what was just up there, except we added the word because. So now, if I couldn't even see that question, pretend like that question wasn't even there, I would know what we were talking about. So now we have the because, and I want to get a good answer, you know, a nice long answer. I want more than just one reason, okay? But would someone like to finish off this first sentence? Why might someone move west? Because blank. I need someone to tell me maybe what one first reason is. Jacqueline, I see your hand is up. Tell me, what could I add to finish off this first sentence?
For gold or for like more land.
All right, so I only want one answer right now. So let's do the first one. According to the text, why go west? Someone might move west because they were in search of gold, period. Now, why would someone be in search of gold? I want everyone to be looking at paragraph 7, and I want to add some details about gold because, like, why are we going west because of gold? That makes no sense. I want some details from paragraph 7. So I need someone to add to this. So far we have, according to the text, why go west? Someone might move west because they were searching for gold. And I'm going to say, according to paragraph 7, what can we add about paragraph 7 that has to do with gold to give us more details? This would be adding details and adding text evidence. Dylan, your hand was up.
Okay, so one reason, well, according to the text, it said, sentence 2, it said, in 1848, James W. Marshall discovered gold at Sutter's Hill Mill in what is now Northern California.
All right, so according to the text in paragraph 7, we could say in 1848, gold was found in Northern California, which what? Gold was found in Northern California, which what? How could I go to that next part? Mark? So,
I'm sorry, I'm thinking.
Okay,
I raised my hand for the beginning, so I'm thinking right now.
All right, so someone moved west, or someone might have moved west because they were searching for gold. According to paragraph 7, in 1848, gold was found in Northern California, which blank.
Which people wanted to move there to strike rich or something?
Right, which we could say found in Northern California, which led people to move there to strike it rich. Period. Ooh, cool. Now, we already gave, the wrong there. So we gave you one reason about the gold. And then we told you about the gold. So we have one reason down. Now we're done talking about gold. Let's move on from gold. Now, what is another reason? We can also, to start that off, we're going to say another reason some people moved west was because blank. What was another reason people moved west, Jaden?
Because the land was cheap, really cheap, or it was free.
Right, because land in the West was being given away for free or was really cheap, according to paragraph what? So I'm going to give you text evidence. Can someone tell me what paragraph it talks about how the land was really cheap or was even free? Type it in my chat. What paragraph was it talking about cheap land or free land? Type it in my chat. All right, so far I have 2 people answered. Ooh, lots more. According to paragraph 3, I agree with you. In paragraph 3, it literally said, blah, blah, blah. Free or inexpensive land was there for the taking. Awesome. So I not only I shouldn't say I, but not only did we give another reason that the land was cheap or free, but we also told you where you could find it in paragraph 3. So now I want to give one more reason because there are 3 main reasons in this text, so we might as well add another one. The final main reason people moved west was blank. Raise your hand if you'd like to tell me what was the final reason people were like, yeah, let's pick up and let's go out. Paisley.
To start a better lifestyle.
Yeah, the final main reason people moved west was, we can actually quote this from the subtitle in our book, was, quote, the chance for a fresh start, quote. That is actually the subtitle, the chance at a fresh start. Does anyone want to add a little bit more about a fresh start? It kind of what you just said, Paisley, about the better life. Can I add another sentence about what a fresh start means? Mia, what would you say about what a fresh start even means? Like when I say a fresh start, what are we talking about?
They wanted to move for a fresh start because it would be a better place for them to get better food, better land, and maybe a better home.
Okay, so people thought, let's say by moving, they could have a better life, right? Because that would mean better food, better home, whatever. So let's reread what we have so far, and we're going to see if we have all of our steps of radar. So, according to the text, why go west? Someone might move west because they were searching for gold. That does qualify for step 1. Restate the question. Right here, we restated the entire question. According to paragraph 7, in 1848, gold was found in Northern California, which led people to move there to strike it rich. So, according to paragraph 7, guess what? That's text evidence. I'm telling you where to find it. We're also adding details about how in 1848, that is when gold was found. And where was it found? Northern California. Look at all those details we're adding. Another reason some people moved west was because land in the West was given away for free or was really cheap, according to paragraph 3. So, paragraph 3, once again, that is add text evidence. And this sentence, I'd say, was a really good sentence about answering in our own words. Because in the book, it said free or inexpensive, but we said free or was really cheap. So we didn't exactly say the exact same thing. So we kind of moved that into our own words. And then lastly, the final reason people moved west was, quote, text evidence, the chance for a fresh start. People thought by moving, they could have a better life. Awesome. So we definitely have the first R, A, D, and A, but I want to wrap it up. Mrs. Kneifel wants a conclusion sentence. So to conclude, normally when I conclude, all I do is kind of restate my question again with a statement instead of a question. Would someone like to maybe tell me how you would Sorry, I just lost my page. Okay, sorry. Would someone like to say maybe how you would end this? Feel free to raise their hand. If you want to tell me how I should wrap this up. Maybe someone I haven't already talked to. It's good to get out of your comfort zone. Oh, Bryden, I haven't heard from you. Tell me, Bryden, how would you maybe wrap this up?
Maybe you could wrap it up by maybe like 3 reasons why people living in the East might want to move to the West or move west.
Woo! Perfect. Above, so I'm telling you where the reasons are. Above, meaning everything we already typed. Above are 3 reasons why people living in the East moved. Remember, that's past tense because this already happened. These aren't reasons people are moving today. So we're making that past tense. Living in the East, moved west, and then I added in the 1800s. I'm telling you when this happened because we didn't necessarily say that yet. And guess what? That is a perfect answer. If someone answered a question like that for me, I would just die, okay? That is such a good answer. We were able to accomplish all parts of radar, and we wrote an entire paragraph. That is a fabulous answer. And we restated the question, and we had a conclusion sentence. So, are there any questions on this first question that we answered together? This seriously? All of you guys are totally 100% capable of doing this on your own. Because really, was this a hard question? No, it came right from the text. What's hard is typing it out and using those parts of radars, making sure that you're adding it in your own words or making sure that you're restating the question or wrapping it up. Some of you guys are definitely getting better at restating the question, but you guys are still lacking on the conclusion part. So this question itself was not actually hard. It just takes time, which is what I have learned you, my lovely friends, don't want to use is time. So we got to get better at time, taking our time to do stuff. So we're going to do another question. And this question, we're going to need a little bit more speculation from or more inferences. Remember, inference is you take the information that you're given in a story, then you make your own predictions or your own thoughts and stuff, because this question is not explicitly stated in our text like the one we just answered. So the question number 2 we're going to answer today, how might, and if we were looking at our cue chart, let me show you real quick. Here's our cue chart. How and might, that is a question 4. That's a level 4 question, meaning, hey, guess what? This question is going to be a little bit challenging, and that's okay. So how might someone have moved west in the 1800s? So this is a question of how did they move? Did they hop on a stinking airplane? Did they go by foot? Did they go by car? Did they go by train? How were we moving west? So step number 1, of course, restate our question. Da-na-na-na-na. Would anyone like to restate our question for me? And there's going to be a few different answers based on just what we know about the time period. We're going to use our inferences, some speculation, like it's going to be good, okay? How am I going to restate this question? Who have I not talked to yet this morning? All right, everyone raising their hand, I've already talked to at least once. So someone new, raise your hand. Not that I don't want to hear from all you lovely people, because so far all my answers have been rocking it today. Molly, tell me, how might I restate this question? Tell me.
Some ways people might have gone to moved to the West is, according to the text first, though.
So for this one, I'm going to say we may not have to actually put according to the text, because according to the text was up here, which is why I really wanted it stated down here. So we don't necessarily have to have that because this one, it doesn't explicitly say how, like, oh, people moved west, you know, by airplane. It doesn't necessarily say that. We're using inferences. So let's just say people or someone. Molly, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
Some ways people might have moved to the west is
All right, so R is plural, is singular, just for the record. So some ways people may have moved west in the 1800s. That's the important part that we have to add is in the 1800s, because like if we just say people might have moved west, we could be talking about today. And if Mrs. Kneiffel's moving west, you know, I'm renting a U-Haul, I'm hiring movers, and I'm going west that way, except for Mrs. Kneiffel's never moving because I love Indiana. But that's all besides the point. So some ways people may have moved west in the 1800s are blank. So now I need a way. How might someone have moved west? I don't know. I need a way. We're going to have one here, maybe some details, maybe another one, add some more details, conclusion. So we need about 4 more sentences. So what's the way that someone moved west, Presley?
One way someone might have moved west is by horses.
Yeah, so some ways people may have moved west in the 1800s. So let's say, we're going to change this and say one way, and then we'll say another way later. So one way people may have moved west in the 1800s is by using horses, period. Now, why would people have used horses? Let's add some details. And remember, it doesn't explicitly say in here, let's just use our schema. What do we know about horses and how people traveled with them? Use what you already know. So someone tell me what we already know about horses. Why might someone have decided to move with horses? Mark?
They were like the only transportation at the time. I mean, they didn't have cars, and I mean,
Perfect.
they could have used horse and buggies too.
So, perfect. So you said, yeah, major source of transportation. So we're just going to say, one way people may have moved west in the 1800s is by using horses. Horses were a major source of transportation during this time period. Sweet. Cool. We know that for sure. People rode horses to the west. How else might have people moved west? And I'm just going to say another way people moved west in the 1800s was blank. How else might I have moved west? Abby, Abrielle?
With wagons.
Abrielle.
With wagons.
Abrielle. People didn't have camels, really. There's not really camels in the United States except for in like zoos. Abrielle, going once, going twice. All right, with wagons. Okay, Abrielle typed it. She said with wagons. So another way people moved west in the 1800s was, and if you remember, she said wagons. In the book, it literally said, it had that picture, then it said a covered wagon train. So let's use exactly from the book. Another way people may have moved west was in covered wagon trains, period. Now let's explain what were covered wagon trains. What were they? Covered wagon trains were blank. Someone explain to me what they were. Was it a train? I don't know. No, we don't. It wasn't a train necessarily. What actually was a covered wagon train? Mia, your hand is up. What was a covered wagon train?
A covered wagon train was like a buggy, multiple buggies connected together that has a white cover over it.
Were multiple covered wagons. So that's the cover part.
Chariots.
Traveling together, right? The whole point of the covered wagon train was that it wasn't just one singular family moving, right? You had that covered wagon, so it was covered wagon, but they were traveling together. So covered wagon trains were multiple covered wagons traveling together, period. Now, can someone remind me why people decided to travel together? That might be a good detail to add. Yeah, so people, they were literally like in a big group or in lines that way, you know. So yes, Mia, they were all like connected. So why was it a good reason for people to be traveling together? What was important about that? Who haven't I heard from today? I want someone new. I want someone new to answer my Lillian, why was it good for people to travel together?
For better protection.
Yeah. People chose to move west in groups to better protect themselves. Perfect. So here we are kind of restating the question again, chose to move west, but in groups to better protect themselves. So we already have 2 ways listed, and we have our restated the question. We definitely have details because we talked about the 1800s. We talked about the covered wagon trains, which is from the story. So go us. What's the last thing we need to do? Am I done with my question? I mean, I answered it, but am I done? No, I see people's head shaking, and go you if you're shaking your head no, because no, we're not done. We still have to do the final step, which is wrap it up, or your conclusion sentence, which is so important, which we always forget, which makes me so sad because I don't want people to forget, and I want us to be doing our personal best, not forgetting anything. Okay, so how would I wrap this up? Someone, you want to tell me, how might we do this? How might we wrap it up? We only gave 2 answers, but with those 2 answers, look how many sentences we wrote. So I'm fine with us giving 2 reasons. That's great. In the first question, we gave 3 reasons because in the story, there were 3 main reasons. So giving 3 reasons made sense. But here, 2 reasons is perfectly fine. We already have like 5 sentences. Let's wrap it up. We need a conclusion sentence. Raise your hand if maybe you want to hook me up with a conclusion sentence. Someone I haven't talked to, answer my question. Not that I don't want to talk to all you people that already have your hand raised, because I love talking to you guys, but I want to talk to someone new. Look at all you people that are on here that aren't answering. Who could answer? Jacqueline Olson, are you alive and well? Could you maybe tell me what you said? Jacqueline.
Are we doing a conclusion sentence?
Yes, that's what we're talking about right now, ma'am. So how might you wrap this sentence up? How would you wrap this up? Haven't heard from you.
I don't really know. I'm trying to think.
All right, so I'll reread the whole thing. So everyone on here right now, Isabella, hold on 1 second. You can try once I read this. So everyone on here, I'm going to read our question. I'm going to read our answer. And I want every single one of you to think, how would you end this? So how might someone have moved west in the 1800s? And remember, this is full of inferences. It does not explicitly say people moved west by using a horse. No, we see the picture. We read it. We know what we know. That is how. So one way people may have moved west in the 1800s is by using horses. Horses were a major source of transportation during this time period. So I told you people used horses. Then I told you why people used horses. Because it was transportation during the time period. Another way people moved west in the 1800s was covered wagon trains. Remember, covered wagon trains did come from our book. It was the caption underneath the picture. Now, let's explain what covered wagon trains are. Covered wagon trains were multiple covered wagons traveling together. Okay, cool. Why do we travel together? Another detail. People chose to move west in groups to better protect themselves. Cool. Look at all those details. Look at all that lovely information. Dun, dun. Isabel Hanlon, you try, ma'am. Isabella Hanlon.
I chatted, but I'll just say it. These are the materials they use to move west.
Okay, so I don't want the word materials. I just want it's how. So these are a few ways people may have moved west during the, I love to put the date, that way people aren't thinking it's today, during the 1800s. Wow, cool. I'm just telling you, yeah, these are some ways. That's it. That's it. And look, that is another perfect answer. If you answered that, oh my gosh, I would just fall over. You restated the question. We had a conclusion sentence. We had plenty of details. We had things from the text. Give yourself a high five because you guys are so smart. I love it. I love it. Okay, so that was just a practicing radar, okay? You do not have a radar question this week, but it's good to practice radar as much as possible. You will have a radar question to do next week, or the next week. Yeah, the next week. Now, we still have a few more minutes left. So, I want us to think of using our lovely cue chart, because we don't use this cue chart enough, which, that reminds me. I need to look at our module 4 writing prompt, because I'm pretty sure our module 4 writing prompt has to do with our cue chart. I need to get that ready to go. But anyways, we still have a few minutes. Can anyone, we're not going to answer the questions, but can any of you think of a quadrant question? A quadrant 1 question. So who, what, where, when, is, are, was, did, do, does, can. If you can think of a quadrant 1 question, just type it in the chat. Think of a quadrant 1 question that goes along with our story. Not just any quadrant 1 question, but that goes along with our story. We're not going to be answering them. I just want you to think. Can you think of a question that would go along with our story? When does this story take place? So I wouldn't say when does it take place. I would say, I said that goes along with the story, Paisley. I would say, when does this story refer to, Mia? Does that make sense? Because the story itself isn't taking place in the 1800s. It's taking place today, and we're talking about the past. That makes sense? When can people move west? Well, they can move west anytime. Jacqueline, we're talking about the story. Where did people move west from? That's a good one, Molly. They moved from the east. People weren't moving from the south to the west. They were moving east to west. So that was a good one, Molly. Who is the person that started? It'd be the 1803 had to do, Mark, it'd be 1948. Who is the person that started the 1948 California Gold Rush? That'd be a good one. What did people use to survive on the journey? What is the story, Why Go West, mostly about? That's a great question, Presley. All right, so you guys have some good quadrant 1 questions. Those would make great radar questions. I should have asked you guys before I made my radar questions. Anyways, how about quadrant 2? Who, what, where, when, could, should, would, will, might. So quadrant 2 questions are normally, you probably read something about 1803, Mark, which is when the Thomas Jefferson bought the Louisiana Purchase. Why might people have wanted to move west? So why might, Ava, would be a quadrant 4. Right now we're looking for quadrant 2. Why did they use wagons? Why did would be quadrant 3, okay? Make sure you are looking at which quadrant are they in. Right now we are looking for quadrant 2 questions, okay? Where might people have gotten supplies? When did? Jaden would be quadrant 1. When did would be quadrant 1. When did would also be quadrant 1. I want to look for some quadrant 2 questions, remember? These words and these words are quadrant 2. What will the people living in the West do after they build civilization? Would you have moved west? That isn't necessarily a quadrant question. That's just an opinion question, but that's okay. The important thing is you guys are able to create questions. I am almost positive that for our quadrant 4, or not our quadrant 4, but for our module 4 thing, oh my goodness, our module 4 writing prompt, it is all about writing quadrant questions. I need to get that out. But good job today, guys, with our, don't get off, by the way, I'm not done talking, with our radar. You guys really did a good job. Thank you guys for participating. For real. we need to start answering these questions like this all the time because you guys are 100% capable. It just takes time. It was not hard to answer these questions. It just took time, and that's okay. So we just got to work on taking more time. So tomorrow is Friday, and it is our last Friday e-learning day. After this week, e-learning days will be on Wednesday. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask your parents. They got an email about it because we're changing things, but that's okay. So that tomorrow is our last Friday e-learning day. And tomorrow you will have a Google form quiz that I created, made it all myself. And it is just a comprehension quiz. Comprehension means like you can get the answers from the story over Why Go West. It's 9 questions long. It's worth 10 points. And it literally says in the direction, use your book. Okay? There's no reason we shouldn't be getting 90s, 100%. No, they're all, there's one short answer question, but it's not asking for radar. It's just answer it. And then the rest are multiple choice. So it should not take you a very long time. That is not radar, but I really want you to do your personal best. Okay. And, yeah, just do a good job, please. And, that is tomorrow. It will be like one sentence, Mia, would be fine. And then that will be open up at 8 a.m. tomorrow. And that is all you have for reading, of course, besides reading for AR. Are there any questions? So you do not have any reading homework today. So happy. Besides reading for AR, read for at least 20 minutes. No reading homework today, besides reading for at least 20 minutes. Tomorrow, you need to read for 20 minutes and take the 9 question quiz, okay? And I expect us to be doing good on our quiz. Okay, Mia, that's great. I want us 90s and 100% on our quizzes, okay? You are free to go if you have a question. Okay, Mia, that's fine. If you have a question, now's the time to ask. I did not know that, Molly. That's good to know. I knew what you meant. As soon as you said snakes, I automatically knew what you meant, Molly. That's funny. You're free to go. Read for AR today. Have a good day, guys. Bye. If you have a question, now's the time to ask.